Kevin Burns from thefoaminghead.com here for a very, very special beer review. I hope you guys are all tuning in and watching this video. Couple of firsts here. This is our first donated beer to the review. Federal law states that when an amateur consumer reviewer receives something for free, they must state it, so I'm going to get that out of the way so I don't end up in federal prison. This beer, St. Patrick's Best Ale, was sent to me by, I'm going to try not to butcher this, the Strangford Lough Brewing Company out of Northern Ireland. The reason I have this beer is that the brewery sent this to me. They are now releasing this beer. It's been available in Ireland since 2004. They're releasing this now in 20 states here, including New York. So they sent this to me to review it. It's an English bitter, checks in at 4.2% ABV. The interesting thing about this beer is in the UK and in Ireland it's 3.8%. But because we're Americans, we like to overdo anything, they felt the need to kind of bring the ABV up a little bit to 4.2%. So I've seen a couple beer reviewers review this beer, a couple bloggers. I think it was on Beer Advocate, but this will be my first crack at it. So in the English bitter style, it just pours a beautiful glass here. It pours kind of a thumb width, small bubbles off white head, not that frothy white head, almost like a champagne-y bubble, a clear, dark copper, orangey brown color, whatever you want to call that. Very biscuity malt aroma, very, very full. For a bitter, when you're talking about a bitter, that's a easier drinking, kind of a step below a pale ale beer. Very malty, biscuity, bready malt. A little bit of sweetness, some faint hops underneath. Now, this beer was brewed in the USA from Irish ingredients, so I'm interested to see how those ingredients survive the trip. And it's got a nice malt base. It's got a backbone to it. It's not flimsy, but it's not heavy either. It's bigger up front, kind of dies down a little bit. A little woodiness to it, a faint woodiness. The malt is there. The finish is a little dry. There's not much on it, but I don't think you need a big finish here. I think you kind of just let this beer die out, and because that woodiness, that malt, it's a little bigger up front. It's a very, very easy drinking. This is going to be a session ale. You're going to have 2 or 3 of these. You're not going to have just one. And I like it. It's got something on the end. There's a little faint hops. It's not very dry. It kind of just dies out a little bit. But there's something that I can't put my finger on that keeps having me go back for more. It's a nice session ale in terms of, I like bitters because if you're not a Pilsner or Lager fan, I know a lot of craft beer nerds don't like that style. It's not big enough for them. I think that's ridiculous. I love Pilsners and Lager. But personal preference, if you want a session beer and you don't like the Lager or Pilsner, the English bitter is a great style to try. And this is a nice example. It's got some flavor up front, dies out a little bit. I think this is a nice beer. If I'm going to rate it, I'm going to go B- 80 to 84. I know that's kind of a big range. A solid 8. It's a nice session ale. Malty up front. The aroma gives up a little bit more biscuity malt. You get that in the body, but the aroma smells more bready than the body tastes. Some faint woody notes. It's a little earthy. Not much on the finish. I could use a little bit more. I'm not a big fan of the over-hopped, over-finished, over-dry, overdone beers, and this definitely tries to avoid that, but I could use just a little bit more, even if that body carries out on the end. But I think this is nice beer. I think you'll start to see it. St. Patrick's Best Ale. It's Irish. You can't go wrong. I'm Irish. My middle name is Patrick. So this might be a favorite of mine. It's nice. I like it. I'm going B-. low 80s. I think that's where I'm staying. It's a nice beer. I think it's always tough to rate beers that you get for free. Always a little tough, but this stands on its own, okay? I'm not afraid to kind of throw a beer under the bus if it's given to me a brewer. I know it's harsh, but this is a nice beer. B-, low 80s, malty, solid session ale. If you don't like the lagers and pilsners, this is definitely where you want to go. It's worth a try. I'd love for you guys to check it out. Send some feedback. Let me know what you think about it. My email address on thefoaminghead.com. Keep following the videos on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, The Foaming Head. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of this beer. I will see you guys later. Thanks for stopping by.